Sharp Game here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So on this episode, I want to talk about this woman that finessed hundreds of guys to show up at some spot, and it turned out to be some type of competition type reality show type shit. And this woman, she's below average looks. You know, her ass is flat. And she basically reached out to a lot of these guys on Tinder and Twitter. And one guy on Twitter, he started a thread, and he copied his message from Twitter, talking about how the woman reached out to him on Twitter. And it's just a random woman that reached out to him on Twitter, and he took her serious. I mean, why would you take some random woman that's reaching out to you on Twitter serious? It beats the hell out of me. I don't know about you, but I have a hard time taking anybody serious on Twitter or any of these social media sites that I've never talked to before, chatted with before, or met in person, or maybe I know them personally. Some random woman that's going to tell you to meet up somewhere. Why would you even do that? That's kind of dangerous. That's like showing up at a woman's house or some spot on a first date and you don't know her from a can of paint. That's kind of dangerous. I've talked about this in a previous video, probably in a live video, if you haven't seen that, where there's guys that get set up, get robbed, taken advantage of in certain situations. Women are setting guys up on when it comes to a lot of these dating websites. So you just got to be aware of this. If a woman tells you to show up at a certain spot and her friend and her people's gonna be there, don't go. That's a setup. 99% of the time, that's a setup. Because no woman wants you to meet her friends the first day. That has to be a setup. and second of all, I don't go places where women want me to go unless I've known them for a long time and I feel comfortable being around them. Like, I feel like I'm safe being around this person. This person has my back. I'm not gonna go where they want me to go. I don't get down like that. I'll go. She can go where I want to go, because I'm not gonna be pulled around by a woman. The guys today put women on a pedestal, and this is why you can get hundreds and hundreds of guys to show up. And then when they show up, she's on stage laughing and giggling like it's funny. And that's why they had security out there. She's laughing and giggling because she knows she can get away with it on stage. And then she goes on to tell everybody that, hey, this is, you guys probably trying to figure out why you're here today. And, this is a competition. These guys are going to compete for me. And if you don't like it, you can leave now. And then she started laughing. I'm like, this ain't funny. And some people in the audience, some guys in the audience started booing and cursing her out. I'm like, this ain't funny. You wasted everybody's time. And you can't get the time back. And the reason why this happens in this society, this would never have happened 20 years ago or when I was growing up. This would have never happened. Women, when I was growing up, women would shame other women if they would do things like this. They would shame other women if they had kids out of wedlock. They would shame other women if they stood up guys on dates. No call, no show. If you tell a woman, you told a woman that, hey, I set a date with this guy and I didn't show up. Women would shame other women. They'd be like, you're awful. But you set a date with a guy and you didn't show up. What type of person are you? But today, they laugh. If a woman doesn't show up, she said, oh, I forgot. Whatever the reason is, they start laughing. Their friends start laughing today. So, what you have today is you have a bunch of game, goofy, lame women out here that don't have no sense of morals, no dignity, no empathy, no compassion. And it's a lot of, and this is the savagery that I was talking about in previous videos. This is why I don't sit on here talking about women all the time, because I'll be talking about women all day long about all the savagery and all the things that they do. And this is a good example of it, but it gets worse than this. This ain't nothing. You got guys that get set up, get robbed, get killed by women out here, and it never gets reported. It never gets reported, man. And a lot of times, it's a lot of stuff that happened to a lot of guys, especially when they get mistreated, they don't even talk about it because it's embarrassing to them. It's embarrassing to a lot of guys. So they just keep it to themselves and never talk about it, ever. And I know a lot of guys that's been mistreated, and this is why a lot of guys will start dating other women, regardless of what class of people or what class of group of people they're in. They'll just, if they get mistreated too many times, they'll just start dating other women just to see how it goes. Sometimes it work out, sometimes it don't. So, you know, there's a lot of women on places like Instagram, for example. They're basically campaigning for men. They're campaigning for a certain type of men. They're like pandering and catering a certain type of man. And here's something that you don't know about a lot of these Instagram models. A lot of these Instagram models are really prostituting themselves. Really. Now, and I can kind of tell who's who, because what happens is you got some of these girls that go from, every time you see them, they're in a different hotel. Every week, every other week, they're in a different hotel. Right? But they don't necessarily say where they're at most of the time. Sometimes they'll say, I'm in Singapore, or, you know, I'm in the Philippines, I'm in Dubai, I'm in Hawaii, I'm in LA, New York, Miami. A lot of these girls are prostituting themselves. But you know what's funny is they never take a picture of them being at home. Almost never take a picture of them, their household, where they live, none of that shit. So I'm like, what are you, homeless or something? I mean, they're always in a different hotel all the time. So I'm like, and then they'll say, oh, I got a boyfriend. This is my boyfriend. This and that. But they're still in a different hotel all the time. You know, so it's like a lot of these girls are living the double life. You know, a lot of these girls, they're not really modeling. A lot of them have followers. A lot of them, they do shout outs for people and they get paid. A lot of them get brand deals. But that's not the majority. That's probably less than 20% get brand deals and do shout outs and work with other people. That's probably less than 20%. That's not the majority. A lot of these girls, the majority of these girls are prostituting themselves. And they're projecting or presenting an image like they're such a good girl. Like they're such a good woman. But everything is fake. She had a bunch of plastic surgery, silicone tits. The butt ain't real in most cases. The eyelashes ain't real. The eyes ain't real. The lips ain't real. It's all made up. Most of these girls, it's all made up. Really. Even if you think it's real, it ain't real. I mean, cause some of these girls go to the best plastic surgeon out in LA and I think Miami now. LA especially. But you got some girls that if you see a earlier picture of them in high school, you see how their bodies look. Their ass is flat. But now their ass is big. Or it's bigger than it used to be. And now a lot of them, if they live in places like LA, they usually get turned out. Then they get into porn and then they get on Instagram and some of them get on the pole every once in a while and do the strip club thing. Then they leave that alone. Then they just show up at parties. And then, when they start doing all these parties, and then they start prostituting themselves. Because that party, showing up to parties money, that ain't gonna last forever. That ain't gonna last forever. Because what happens, these promoters, they're kind of betting on how many people you can get to show up based on the amount of followers that you have. But the only problem with that is a lot of times they're buying followers. They got these what they call them farm. They call them subscriber farms. I think that's what they call it. You can buy followers now. So that's what a lot of these girls are doing. So most of these girls, it's all an illusion. That's what you don't know about most of these Instagram girls. And some of these girls are game goofy. If you meet them in person, you wouldn't like them, regardless of how they look. If you met them in person, you wouldn't like them. And I've met a lot of these girls in person or in passing, and I didn't like most of them. And even some of the people that you meet offline, just period. They're socially awkward. They have no personality. You wouldn't like being around most of these people. Even some of your celebrities that you love, you might love their music. You might love what they do. But you wouldn't like them as a person. You wouldn't like them as a person. It's just like there's a lot of women that I've met in my life at this point. And a lot of them, they like what I do. They like the places I go, the people I meet. They like I go to the conferences. They like the people that I'm around, the people that I attract. They love that aspect of me. But they don't like the person that I am. They don't like the person. They don't like what I stand for. They don't like what I do. They don't even like that I'm giving advice to you right now. They don't even like that. I had a woman tell me 2 years ago, why do you feel obligated to do videos like that and give advice like that and write books like that? I had a woman ask me that one time. Now, and she's one of those types that she look at it like the advice that I'm giving is going to empower men, and I'm going to start some type of movement out here, and that's going to take away from her freedom. That's how she looks at it. And that's how a lot of women look at it out here. There are a lot of women out here, they like the way things are going. They don't want to change nothing. Because they look at it, if things change too much, they're going to have to upgrade their game. They're going to have to do some work. And most people don't want to do no work. They don't want to change. They don't. That's why a lot of people don't like who I am. They like the stuff that I do. They like the places I go. I go to the conference. I get out here and travel and meet people. And I attract a certain group of people. They like that part. That's cool. That's like having a party. That's like entertainment to them. But they don't like what I stand for. So, my man, you got to be around people that like what you stand for and like what you do. Can't just be one-sided. And always remember, everything on the surface is never what it seems. That's why they always say, believe half of what you hear and half of what you see. Especially if you live in here in the United States of America. So hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel, check out my website, badboysecretsclub.com. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.